let's look at number 1. What I want you guys to realize on your notes, or on the directions, they're going to be asking you to find the area of each regular polygon every time. And I'm telling you to use this formula every time. Area is equal to 1/2 lowercase a times uppercase. So, obviously, on every single problem, you're going to need to find what 2 things? This lowercase a, which is called the what? Apothem, and the uppercase p, which is called the perimeter. You don't have to write this formula out every time, but I do want that written out every time. Right in the box, I always do that, don't I, on these? I want to see that, because those are the 2 things you've got to find every time. Okay? You don't have to rewrite the formula in general form every time. Well, what has been given to me? What is the apothem? It's the perpendicular distance from the center of a regular polygon to its side. Have I been given the apothem?
Yes.
Yeah, what is it?
2.3.
Okay, I have a number for that. I can't use this formula until I can fill in both these blanks. Then I use the formula. Have I been given the perimeter?
Yes, 24.
Not directly. And listen. I want to see this every time. Capital P. How many sides are there?
3.
Times what? I just want to see that. What would you put in here? So I have to see that. That took me 2 seconds. There's 33 problems. I'm asking for 66 more seconds. Everybody understand that? So that's the first thing I did. I found the perimeter. So now that I have the apothem and I have the perimeter, what am I left with? Area is equal to 1/2, and I got to see this every time. I want to see capital A, 1/2. Then I want parentheses. What should I put inside the parentheses for A? 2.3. What should I put inside the parentheses for the perimeter? I expect to see that step every time. You don't do it, you might as well not turn it in. And I'm not kidding. Now here's the nice thing, that's just calculator work from now on, isn't it? That's all really the only step you should ever have to write. The rest you just put into your calculator. This one said to round to the nearest tenth, so I don't need to be exact. So, 0.5 times 2.3 times 24 equals, it said round to the nearest tenth, that already is. So the answer is 27.6. Now, I want you to write square units to remind you that if you have units, you're going to have to do what to them? It's square. If it was centimeters, it'd be centimeters squared and all that. This is your answer. You are done. Now, I'd like to talk about number 4 now. Can you guys tell me the difference between number 4 and number 1?
It has a radical in it.
No, there's a bigger difference.
Other than the shape.
Guys, what should we always read before we do problems? Make sure we know the directions, correct? What do the directions say here? Find the area of each regular polygon. That's the same. Guys, stop writing. All of these will be on canvas. Stop playing with your phone or I will take it away. Put it away. It doesn't need to be out at all. Now, I see any phones out. I'll take them away. what does it say here? It says leave your answer in what?
Simplest form.
I want you guys to think of, they're basically telling you to leave it in exact form. That means no rounding, no, things that are non-repeating, non-terminating decimals, you can't leave them as that. And you'll notice a lot of these, you have problems where I ask you to round to the 10th, then you'll have a set of problems where I ask you to what? Leave it in simplest form, or exact. You need to pay attention to that. First things first, to find the area, I always need to have the what? Apothem and the what? So you guys should write that in the top right-hand corner. Have any of these been given to me? Has the apothem been given to me?
Yes.
It's 8 what?
Right.
Has the perimeter been given to me directly?
No.
Not directly, but I can find it because they gave me a side, did they not?
Mm-hmm.
How many sides are there?
So,
6 times what? What is the perimeter then?
Mm-hmm.
96, correct? Yeah. Right? Now do I have both the things I need to use the formula? So area is equal to, capital A is equal to 1/2. What goes in as my apothem?
8.
Square root of 3 times the perimeter, which is 96. Now, here's where this is different. You're supposed to leave this in exact, right? If you don't start with a decimal, don't end with a decimal. Now, I will say this. Look at the next problem. Do you start with a decimal?
yes.
Yeah. You just don't round your decimal. You leave it exact. If there's 4 decimal places, you write down what? 4 decimal places. Here, though, there aren't any decimals. Now, what I want you guys to understand, just in a rule, you guys need to understand that this is over 1, this is over 1. This is a big multiplication problem. On the bottom of this fraction is 2 times 1 times 1. On the top is 1 times 8 times square root of 3 times what? 96. This is the same thing as this. What can happen? 2 will go into 8 how many times? So I'm just left with 4 times square root of 3 times 96. What is my area equal to? You guys tell me. If I have all 1s on the bottom, is it a fraction anymore? No, I don't have to write it as a fraction, do I?
665.
Nope. Well, what you got? No, we're not using decimals. We have to leave it in. So tell me, what do I do? This is a non-repeating, non-terminating decimal. I don't do that multiplication part. What's on the outside? 4 and what?
96.
So 4 times, basically 4 times 96 times square root of 3. I can't multiply these in here unless I change this to a decimal, right? I don't want to do that. I want exact. So what's 4 times 96? 384 what? Square root of square units. That's what you mean by what? Exact or simplest form. You guys understand that now?
Why didn't we divide 96 then?
Because we didn't need to. I divided 8 by 2. Just one big multiplication problem. If I had 2 2's down there, then I wouldn't need to. But I already did one of them. Let's put it this way. You could have gone 8 times 96 and then divided by 2. You would have got 384. Okay. This will be on Canvas. All of these, so we don't need to wait for you to write them down. Stop writing and pay attention. Look at number 7. First, what are your directions?
Find the area of each regular polygon.
Find the area, so we're running to the nearest what? So I don't need to worry about leaving things in radical form here, do I? So I could really think of my apothem, instead of 15 square root of 3 over 2, I could think of it as 7.5 square root of 3, because I didn't round or anything. Would you guys agree with that? So when I say what my apothem is over here and what my perimeter is, instead of writing that nasty, more complicated number, how about I just write it as 7.5 square roots of what? 3. Sound okay? Now, can I find the perimeter right now?
No.
I don't have the stuff I need, do I? Anytime this happens, your next step is to always do this. Complete the right triangle by drawing the radius, if it's not drawn for you. Now, in the notes I gave you, we talked about how to find this angle. What does, first of all, this apothem always cuts this in half, doesn't it? What does this radius always do to this angle right here? On the notes we talked about, it also cuts it in half also. Now I can find the base angle of any regular polygon by going n minus 2 times 180 divided by n, and n is what? The number of sides. How many sides does this have?
6.
So it'd be 6 minus 2 times 180 divided by 6, 120. So that means this angle here is 120 degrees. This one's what? 120 degrees, 120 degrees, 120 degrees, 120 degrees. Now, here though, what does this radius always do to that angle? Stop writing and look. Cuts it in half. So what is this? So that makes that 60 degrees. Because then this one would be what? Making the whole thing 120. If this is 90, this is 60. What's this? So what I'm going to do is come down here and I'm going to kind of redraw, or over here to the side, how about right here? We'll redraw this triangle a little bit bigger. Just so it's a little easier. You guys don't have to do this. This is just so you can see it. So what did I say? This is 7.5 square root of 3. This is 60 degrees. This is 30 degrees. What do I need to find? Well, if I find this right here, I'll know the side of the polygon, won't I? And then I'll be able to add them all together, multiply by the number of sides, and I will be able to find, everybody sit up, the perimeter, won't I? Because see, on these other first ones I did, what was given to me? They gave me a side and the what? Apothem, and I used the side to find the perimeter, right? In this problem, I haven't been given a side, have I? Just the what? So I have no way to find the perimeter right now. But I do if I use one of the 3 things I have written up here on the board, which right here is what?
30, 60, 90.
This is
40,
45, 45, 90 special right triangles, or you can use what? Trig functions. SOHCAHTOA, sine, cosine, or tangent. Because we can always use this formula to find what this angle is, and then that radius will always what? Cut it in. Sometimes you'll have a nice special right triangle like we do here, which is a what? 30, 60, 90. So we can use these rules. This is S, this is my longer leg, and this is H, isn't it? What do I always find first? S. What's been given to me?
The longer leg.
The what? The longer leg. Well, what do I do? 7.5 square root of 3 divided by what?
Square roots of 3.
Now, what's nice about that?
It crosses out.
The square root of 3 divided by square root of 3 is just 1. So actually, What is this? 7.5. So what's this? Isn't that 7.5 too? So what does that make the whole thing?
15.
So now how do I find the perimeter?
15 times 6.
There's how many sides? 6 times. So my perimeter is what?
90.
Now I have the two things I need, don't I? Third thing I do, area is equal to 1/2 apothem, which is what? 7.5 square root of 3 times the perimeter, which is what? Well, am I supposed to round this to the nearest tenth? Okay, these are all the things on top, so I can just simply, let's see, 7.5 times 3 square root equals that, and then I also got to multiply it times 90, right? Equals that, and then I got to do what? Divide by 2. 584 rounded to the nearest tenth would be 584.6. So my area is 584.6 square units.
Now, do any of these have like a square unit that we'll put down? Or
No,
do we
I'm
just
just
have
gonna write square units.
Okay.
Any questions on that? So in this one, to find what I needed, I had to use what? 30, 60, 90 triangles. See, on the rest of these, I'm going to give you an unknown. Now, let's look at, I think the next one we did. Look at number 21. And let's notice, let's see, in this problem, the one we just did, they gave us the apothem, right? If you look at number 21, what did they give you? Did they give you the apothem?
No.
No, they just give you a what? Side. So, I don't have the apothem, but did they give me information to be able to find the perimeter? What is the perimeter going to be?
96.
It's going to be 3 times what? 32 square roots of 3, correct? Which should be,
96.
okay? Except for writing the first, second, and third, you need to do yours exactly like I'm doing. All right, so I've got half of what I need. How am I going to find the apothem? What did I say we're probably going to have to do when they don't give us one of these? Always draw the what? No, the radius. Finish the right triangle. Now, can I find this angle out? How? What are the angles inside a regular triangle? What's this angle? If you don't know it, you can put it into that formula, but isn't an equilateral triangle 60 degrees, making this what? 30, and this what? Stop writing. Pay attention. Make sure you understand. You guys see how I got this? But I still need one of the sides. Which one of these sides do I know anything about? What do I know this radius, or this, I'm sorry, this apothem always does? Cuts this in. So if the whole thing is 32 square roots of 3, what's that? Well, here's the deal. You guys are a little confused by that. But let me ask you a simple question. Don't make things harder than what they are. Don't discriminate against ugly things. For instance, if I said 20, I want you to, what's half of 20? What would you do? Divide by, and you'd get what? If I said find half of 54, what would you do? Divide by,
2.
what would you get? 27? Okay. What's half of stickman? What did you do over here? So what do you do over here?
It's just
That's how you find half a stick man. You divide stick man by 2, right? So how do you find half of 32 square roots of 3? You divide by 2. See, if I would have said 32, you guys wouldn't have had a problem saying 16, would you? But really, doesn't this just become... So that right there is 16 square roots of 3. And let's see how accurate we need to be. We're leaving our answer in simplest form, so that means exact. So we need to leave things in simplest radical form. Well, what type of triangle am I left with? I need to find this apothem right here, don't I? What type of triangle do I have?
36.
Okay, what's given to me? Is this the S or L? So to find S, which is my apothem, I take the longer leg, which is what? 16 square roots of 3, and I divide by what? Square root of 3, correct? What's S equal to? Can no one tell me what S is equal to?
S is equal to 16.
Okay, which that's my apothem, isn't it? So my apothem is what? Do I have everything I need? Area, capital A, is equal to 1/2. Apothem, which is what? Times perimeter, which is what? 96 square root of half of 16 is what? 8 times 96. What's the area equal to? We're supposed to leave this in exact form.
768.
Huh?
768 square roots of 3.
What? Square. Not so terrible. So this is, they gave me an unknown as, they didn't give me apothem, and that's how I found it. Using what? One of these 3 things up here. Now, let's look at 24. Man, they didn't even give me an apothem here, did they? They drew the what?
The hypotenuse.
The radius. So, they didn't give me an apothem, or they didn't give me a way to find the perimeter, did they? Right off the bat. But they gave me the radius. I'm going to go ahead and scribble that out and write 16 right here, so it's a little less confusing. Okay? Well, so this is different because, you know, this one they gave me the side, the other one they gave me the apothem, now they gave me the radius. Well, what type of triangle is this? This is a regular square, 4-sided figure, right? What are each of these angles going to be? Yeah, it's a square, isn't it? What's that make this one? This angle right here, what's that make this one? 45. So what's this one got to be? Huh? 45. So I've got a 45, 45, 90 triangle. Ah, right over here, right? That means that your legs are congruent, doesn't it? Well, they gave me the what? Hypotenuse. I need to find the apothem. So first, when I find this apothem, the apothem is going to equal what? Whatever the radius is divided by what? So that's my... And since I'm just rounding to the nearest tenth, do I need to rationalize the denominator? No. I can just write my apothem as 16 over what? Square root of 2, can I? Because I'm going to have to round to the nearest tenth in the end anyway, right? Well, but here's the deal. What do we know the legs of a 45? This one's 16 divided by square root of 2. What's this one? 16 divided by square root of 2. Making this half over here what? 16 divided by square root of 2. What does that make the entire side? How about 32 over square root of 2? So now, how am I going to find the perimeter?
32 times 4 over
4 times 32 over square root of 2, which I would just leave that is 128 over square root of 2. I guess you could make that into a decimal place, around it maybe to 5 or 6 decimal places if you don't like messing with the radicals, since you're getting to the 10th at the end, but
Why is it over square root?
because the apothem was 16 over square root of 2. Because if you look at 45-45 triangle, how do you find the leg? You take the hypotenuse and you divide by square root of 2. Yeah, that's how we got that there. I was basically finding the leg, I guess you could say there,
See, I thought for
which
a
ends
second-
up being the apothem, right?
Yeah, I thought for a second.
I
that
got
was
you.
the first
Yeah,
one.
I went to that kind of fast. So now, we did that second. Third thing, now I'm gonna use the formula. A is equal to what? 1/2 apothem, which is what? 16 over square root of 2, times the perimeter, which is what? 128 over square root of 2. Here's the deal, this one's actually easier to do, but if you wanted to put it into your calculator, on the top, you got 1 times 16 times 128, right? So 16 times 128 equals that. Now divide that by what? 2 equals 1024. So I divided by that. Now divide by that. Divided by 2 square root equals that. Then say divided by 2 square root equals. What's the answer?
Yeah.
The area is equal to
512.
If you're curious how it came out perfectly even like that,
All the twos.
2 will go into 16 what? 8 times. Square root of 2 times square root of 2 is actually what?
2.
2. 2 will go into 8 4 times, so it's just 4 times 128. Okay, that's how you get that. Last one. Number 32. So we've used every method up there. We've used 30, 60, 90 triangles, and we have used what? 45, 45 triangles. Now we're going to go to our last one. What type of figure is this?
It's an octagon,
It's an octagon.
so it has 8.
So it has 8 sides. I need to know what all these angles are here, don't I? So I'm going to go 8 minus 2 times what? 180 divided by 8. What do you get? You guys tell me.
135.
So that means that's 135, 135, so on and so on. Now, what did I always say we needed to do? Complete our what? Triangle by drawing the radius. The only time you don't have to is when they give you both the things you need on the first ones. So I need to think about if all of these are 135, that makes this one what? 67.5 degrees. The other thing is, okay, it cuts that in half. What else does it cut in half? What does it make this? 5. It's kind of hard to read, isn't it? So let's go ahead and draw another one down here. Doesn't have to be perfect. And this is what? 67.5 degrees. And this is what? 2 point what? And this is my apothem. Correct? I need to find the what? Apothem, and I need to find the perimeter. Did they give me stuff to find the perimeter right off the bat?
Yes.
The perimeter is, how many sides are there? 8 times what is each side? Perimeter is? Easy peasy. Second, I need to use the triangle to find my apothem. Did they give me a special right triangle here?
No.
They didn't, did they? So I can't use, it's neither one of those, is it? So what's the only thing left to use? SOHCAHTOA. And if you'll remember with trig functions, by what they give you tells you which one to use. With respect to this angle, they have given me the what? Opposite and the what? Adjacent. Which one is that?
Tangent.
Tangent. So what I'd say, it's always tangent of a what? Angle. What's the angle? 67.5 is equal to the opposite, which is what? Our apothem, over the adjacent, which is what?
2.5.
Whenever one of these are my unknown, I just put it over 1 and what? Cross multiply. So A is equal to tangent of 67.5. All of that times what? 2.5. Now here's the deal. All we're finding is the apothem here. I know that we're supposed to round to our 10th in our directions, but to make sure you're accurate enough here, I'd round this to probably 4 decimal places. Okay? So when I do this, I'm going to say 67.5 tangent times 2.5 equals, I'm going to go ahead and make that 6.0355. That's to make sure that I get things rounded correctly at the end. Everybody understand that? So I have them 6.0355 because they're not going to come out even when you're using trig functions. 90% of the time. Now, so I've got everything I need. My third thing to do is just use the formula. Apothem is equal to 1/2. Apothem. Area is equal to 1/2 apothem, which is what? 6.0355 times the perimeter, which is 40. When you multiply all those together, and actually as far as the calculator work's concerned, you guys probably like this one better, don't you? It's just 0.5 times 6.0355 times 40 equals, round to the nearest tenth, so it'd be what? 120.7. So 120.7 what? Square units. Guys, once again, if you read the directions, if you don't show your work, you're wasting your time. You might as well not turn it in. Okay? I expect to see all this. Here's the deal. You know, these are 11-4's hard because it is so much. Most of it's things we've done before, but it is calling on a lot of different weird stuff that you haven't used very much in your mathematical careers. Hence, we need to practice it. Okay? 11-4 bookwork and 11-4 worksheets are due Wednesday at the end of the hour. I will be assigning the review assignment as well on Wednesday, but you will be welcome to work on all that on Wednesday, so you have 2 days. You're kind of getting that because the third hour, will be in the assembly. Okay, so you have plenty of time to do this right. I have the key up here. I expect this to be graded and corrected, and once again, corrected doesn't mean saying I missed that one and writing the right answer down. That means erasing it and redoing it in a different, or if you have room, just do your corrections in a different color ink or something to where I can tell that that's a correction, and figuring out what you did wrong so you can do well on the test. Okay? Let's get to work.